guys, and welcome to my channel, Humble Homestead Life. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a book that I bought and I absolutely love. I think everybody should have this book in their home because it's chocked with so many old-fashioned ways of doing things. And so I thought I would share that with you today. I actually saw this book when I was scrolling through YouTube. It came across in an ad, and it is called The Lost Ways by Claude Davis, and his website is called askaprepper.com. And I love this book because it actually takes you through a lot of survival skills that the pioneers used. And there's all kinds of recipes and how-tos in this book. And I just think it's a really good, informational, old-fashioned skills book to have. So go check it out. You can go to askaprepper.com. And I'm not sponsored in any way to share this with you. This is just something that I bought that I really like. And today, one of the things I'm going to try that's in this book is how to make your own sourdough starter. Now, I know there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube and a lot of blogs that talk about how to make sourdough starter. I'm new to sourdough starter, so I'm just going to use what I have here at home. I'm going to follow this recipe, which seems to be pretty standard. And yeah, and we're going to see how sourdough starter goes in our house because I wanted to start baking with it and making bread for my family because it's a lot healthier for your gut, and so that's what I'm doing today. So, The Lost Ways, it has a sourdough starter recipe in it. It calls for a jar, some filtered or spring water, so I got some filtered water here, flour, a cheesecloth or something to cover your jar because you don't want your jar to seal, you want it to be able to breathe. So I'm going to use a paper towel with a rubber band. And it calls for a half a cup of water, a half a cup of flour. You pour that into your jar, you mix it so it's pancake batter consistency, and you cover it with a cheesecloth. You let it sit for 24 hours on your counter, and then you feed your starter every day, a half a cup of flour, a half a cup of water. There's a lot of tutorials about discarding discarding some of the starter so that you have the same ratio every day, because then it would be you get a half a cup of starter, a half a cup of flour, and a half a cup of water. And you do that, I believe, for a lot of people say about a week when I was researching this on the internet. But this book doesn't give a time frame. It basically just says you just kind of want to watch your starter. You want it to have a consistent, a lot of bubbles in it, and then you basically know that it's ready. When it's risen in the jar and there's a lot of bubbles in it, then you can use it to bake with. So, the pioneers, I don't believe, had a lot of science to things. Everything was just, kind of hand measured, a dash of this, a dash of that. So this book doesn't really give a time frame. It just basically, you're going to be feeding it, you're going to be watching it, and then when it looks like there are a lot of bubbles, it's basically ready to use. And in the book, it's in black and white, but it gives pictures. It gives all of the ingredients, it gives the instructions, and what you need to do. And then also in this book, after you've made your sourdough, it's so awesome because it gives you some recipes. Make tasty bread like 1869. And it gives you a recipe to use your sourdough starter that you made. So I just think this book is just so awesome. guys. So in my last video, I was trying my hand at making some fermented pickles, and so they've been sitting on my counter for about 5 days, and I went ahead and took the rock that was in the baggie to submerge them underneath the brine. I took that out and I placed them in my refrigerator. So I was going to give them a taste test to see how they turned out. I also added a little bit of bread and butter pickle seasoning to it, and so we are going to dig in here. We're going to pull one out, test them out. So the texture of them seems to be a little soggy. They don't look very crisp, but I'm not really opposed to that as long as they taste good. So here we go. Wow, believe it or not, these taste just like a pickle from the store. I think they're a little salty. I maybe could lessen the salt content that I use. I think I used about 3 tablespoons, but actually they're actually really delicious. Let's see, this one looks like it's a little bit firmer. Let's taste this one again. Experimenting, it's so fun. So, actually the verdict on fermenting pickles, I actually like it a lot. It was super easy to do, way quicker than canning. I think the only downside to fermenting is that they're not shelf stable, so I couldn't put this in my pantry. It would need to be stored in my refrigerator. So if you have refrigerator space, then this is a good option for processing cucumbers, turning them into pickles. I actually really like this a lot. Fermenting, you get a lot of good probiotics and things like that, which is good for your gut microbiome. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to try this, because we're trying to introduce fermented foods into our household. So I would say that these get a big thumbs up. They were easy to do. They're very tasty, and I think I will be doing this more often, maybe with a different vegetable. So stay tuned.